And then the companion, I guess you could say, to that, that you also want to have, because one without the other is not as powerful, is this little set of dots across as many time frames as you can get. In this case, I'm in the short, but that is for the expansion monitor. And the expansion monitor is what's responsible for these dots showing up right here, right? Like these dots. I think those are the main ones I see. But as you can see, like this is where the expansion monitor started, and it works pretty well. And then this is roughly where it started on this random real estate stock, and then it worked pretty well. At least good enough to get you into a position and protect your, profit with a stop loss. And then if you have a situation where it goes against you, you can at least bail out of the stock. And so that's in my opinion why those two are really nice. So if I get, out of here and I zoom out for Exxon, for instance, which crypto is exactly the same way. I can look at a few things. I can see that the 4-hour has expansion dots. I can see, and if I pull up the 1-day chart, the 1-day for the first time just today closed with an expansion dot. The 1-day, is pretty bearish. So it could, bounce, I guess you could say. There's some pretty heavy supports not too far away, but there's definitely a lot of room for expansion. And overall, the trend scanner does what it does to kind of like show you places where any given asset has as little opposing volatility as possible. So the only reason it shows up here is because this movement monitor is blue the whole time. That's one of the conditions. It will not show up if the movement monitor is not blue or orange. So in the case of a red box, it only shows up when the movement monitor is blue. And it will also measure, you can set it however you like, but the default is 5 candles. So for any given chart you're looking at, it's going to look at the past 5 candles. And its job is basically just to look for anything where the movement monitor stopped being blue, in this case, and also if any of these candles were yellow or orange, indicating that was a candle that closed with a lot of bullish volatility. And we don't want that if we're thinking about entering a short. Like we don't want to have to watch our position go upside down and things like that. So it's not foolproof because it's just statistics, but at the same time, it at least identifies the best opportunities that have historically, across all these different time frames right here, had very, very little opposing volatility, or at least not enough to even have an orange bar, right? So if I pulled up the 1-hour chart and I looked at the past 5 hours, there wouldn't be any yellow or orange, and it was blue movement monitor the whole time. And then the same thing for the 2-hour, the 4-hour, the 12-hour, and the 1-day. And so that for me, in the scope of my 23-day put option trade, which is essentially me shorting Exxon for a bit, creates the best environment for minimal volatility. Because even in the option space, if I short it here and I put whatever I put into it and it goes against me for a little while, you kind of have to ask yourself how sure you are that within 23 days it's going to be where you want it to be. Because while it's going against you, just like crypto futures, your position is upside down and you can't get out of it without losing money. Now, the bright side is I would have, a good 10 or 15 days probably to get out with profit. So it may just be my psychology that I have to mess with. And, a few days from now, it could be exactly where I want it, way down here. But that's what I'm trying to avoid. And that's where Trend Scanner helps. Without Trend Scanner, we have to assume that there's a good chance that there's been, opposing volatility. So here it's been bearish and there's been no significant bullish volatility. And so that's why, in this case, Exxon is great for potential for a short. It also has nice bearish pressure in the multi-day, right? For somebody going into a 23-day trade, it has a lot of, potential to drop. And then I'm kind of looking at movement monitors here too. I like that on the custom, all of these are either red or blue. Maybe not the 1 week, but I have a
Yeah.
lot of room for this to potentially drop. And then in the most recent linear regression, we can look and we can see that everything all the way into the 4 hours kind of like breaking bearish. And so I'm using all of those things to just kind of like decide, the chance I want to take. And then even then, if I want to, just like crypto, I can decide, hey man, if this thing goes against me and I lose 15% or 10%, or even if it's just 5%, I can bail out. Or I can just say, you know what, I'm gonna put X dollars into it and I'm gonna risk it all. And I either, win or I lose, but I'm just gonna check back in 10 days. And I think statistically I should win. So you can play it a number of different ways. In crypto, it's you have to if you're using higher leverage, you just have to worry about liquidation. Options, you have to worry about running out of time. Crypto, you have to worry about if you're using high leverage, that you could get liquidated and it takes all your money. If you only have
Right.
like 1x leverage or 2x leverage, then you can let it ride and you can probably have looser stop losses and all kinds of things. Um, but I just wanted to kind of like do a refresher, I guess you could say, on
Yeah.
what all those mean. Because now I can take you through some live charts and maybe we can find a trade and I'll just kind of give you like my rundown on how to do it.